Hello, this is Easy, and this is part 2 of the EZ-Rope brushes. And you can download these and try these below the video. You're going to be putting these in this folder right here, and the ZBrush folder, and then you'll unzip it and bring it in here. Alright, in this version here, this is the newer version. This one will include this one called the ZRope.ZSC. If you don't have this right now, then you don't have the current version. I have another video from the previous version, and this is the newest version for right now. It's got 9 files in it. So if we open this up here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do things in order. We're going to open up Lightbox, and we're going to choose a 3D item here. Alright, this works with 3D and also works with Polypaint. Alright, so when we get this out here like this, I'm going to do a few settings right here, and I want to kick up my geometry just a little bit, and this is for poly painting. So I'm going to go to the subtools, and there's this little paint icon. This will enable the poly painting. Alright, so the paint icon is on, and I'm ready to go. Next thing I will take a look at is this morph target. Usually when I'm running this script, this will store it automatically. Sometimes you got to keep an eye on this. Sometimes the script doesn't work correctly. So we're going to open up Lightbox here, and we are doing things just directly in order. And if we go to the brushes, and there's our folder right here, and there's all the rope brushes, and here's the new ZSC. So make sure you get everything all loaded up, and when I click this Z-rope here, you'll see, or it should store the morph target automatically. So when I click it, it automatically did it itself, and we got this script down here at the bottom window. Now if I bring this up, you can see we got some of the buttons. They all look kind of the same. One on the top says store, and one on the bottom says store, and then they're all, layered from the top to the bottom. Well, the top right here all the way across is RGB. This is designed for just coloring. This is for no bumps or any Z-sub or nothing like this. Now we got the user one here. This will allow you to do anything that you want, and you can use Z-Zad, Z-sub, whatever material. It's really not designed for RGB, but you can. But if you have problems, you'll have to come back to the script here. So let's just start with the top script and make it really simple. We're going to do some coloring. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of the brushes here, and adjust my draw size a little bit. Then I'm just going to, once I move it in a position where I want it at, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. And when I drag and let go, the most important thing I don't want to do is move the model, because what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to this last button here. It's called replay last. Excuse me. This replays the last stroke. So what color do we want to use over top this bump? And we'll use the green here. Alright, we don't have RGB on, and it's going to do all kinds of settings when I click this button, so we really don't need to turn none of this on or off. So we'll just go here and go replay last, and you can see how that works. Now let's say I wanted to switch to a different color. Let's go to red. We can even decrease our draw size and replay last, and you can see how it put a red in there. Now what this store morph target here is just the bumps. So if I switch here, you can see how it got flat, then we get the bumps. So if I wanted to maybe erase that color, well, I can come over to the color here and just drag over here with my picker, and I'm just holding it down. I'm getting somewhere on the white here, then I'm going to let go. Now take note, I did not move the head here. So if I replay this, it's going to wipe out some of the color. Alright, well, what I need to do is I need to make my brush size a little bit bigger, and it's going to wipe out all the color. Depends how big your brush is. I got a little green down here, and we'll go a little bit bigger. Once you get the hang of it, you only have to do it once, and that's fine. There's all kinds of tips that you can do. Then you can see that I can still switch my morph target here. So we're going to go ahead and go into the next step here. Let's go ahead and switch this so it's no bump. We're going to delete it and we're going to store another one. Alright, remember with this replay last is once you get in position you can't move it. Now if you use this one here called the store and replay all, this one will allow you to move it. So once I get it in position where I want it, I'm going to press store, and once I do that I'm going to go ahead and drag right here. Then it's going to allow me to move it. I must make my first stroke without moving it. So once I got my first stroke without moving it, I can go somewhere else and stroke and move it, and stroke and move it. Now once I'm done, I can pick me a color wherever I want. Then I'm going to replay all. It's going to replay all the strokes I did. And I'm going to give it a second here. And if I wanted to put some green in the middle, the mesh is a little bit heavy here, so everything's going to be a little bit slow. Now, as you can see, I'm still moving this around, and I can still change the color even if I move this right here. If I wanted to do like a blue, replay all. Then we get all the blue in the middle. Now if I want to start a couple new strokes, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to store this again. So if I pick a position here, say this one here, and I want to use this option again, I need to press store, and we'll store this. And like I said, you must make one stroke at least somewhere without turning the model. So we're going to stroke down here. Once I make that first stroke, then I can turn the model. I'll go with a little purplish there, then replay all. And we'll tone that down, and we'll switch that in. Put some more color in there. Then you get something like that. Then you can switch your morph here. Now if I want to just kind of get rid of all the color at once, I'll just take my picker, bring it over here, let go, color, and fill object. I was bringing the picker to the white area on the mesh here, so it turned it white, then I filled the color with white. Here's going to be a little example of how it would work if you did it wrong. We're going to start off with the replay last, but make sure when you're making a new project, always best to have the store morph on. So the wrong way to do it is to drag on it, then let go, then move it. That's what causes this replay last to screw up. This is what happens when you do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to Control Z this back and get the little bump off there. So the right way to do it is to stroke once, continue stroke, don't move it, then we'll play it. We're going to Control Z that back. Another wrong way would be to do is to stroke on it, let off the stroke, and stroke it again, because it's going to replay the last stroke. That's why we have this one over here, and this way it'll allow you to move it around with a store. So we'll Control Z that back. So we're going to store this. That way when we drag on it here, we can let go. We can actually turn it if we want to. Then we'll replay all that. And you can switch different colors like I showed you earlier. See, I can press this replay all many times as I want if I wanted to change the color. No matter which way I move it, it's gonna update it. Now, if you want to start new on here again, you're gonna have to press store again, because if not, and you start moving around and start dragging on here and you replay all, what's it's gonna do, it's gonna replay all the strokes. So if we want to start all over, we need to go ahead and store position here. As soon as we store it right there, alright, we don't move it, we must make at least one stroke, then we can move it. And once we move it, then we're fine. We do many strokes as we want. Play all. Then it won't tamper with one of the ones in the front, then we'll get our new strokes in. Okay, I pause the video, and what I want to do is I want to store more target here, or a lot of times if you just run that script again, just click it. Sometimes it'll store it for you, sometimes it won't. That time it didn't, so we're going to store it. And what we're going to do is, got another video that you can look about these rope brushes. I got 4 of these towards the end. These are called the layer brushes, and basically they work with the morph target. If the morph target is on and I crisscross these strokes, once they cross the intersection right here, they don't build up. It goes at the same depth. It doesn't go over the top and back down. That's how these layer rope brushes work. We're going to Control Z that back. Now when I'm using this with this RGB here and replay last, or some of these strokes, well, what will happen is these layer brushes sometimes don't work as expected. It's because it's designed on these alpha settings I have down here, and that's going to be a long discussion, so we're going to skip that, but I'm just going to show you how to fix it. So if we got like a color red and I drag here and I try doing it with the RGB replay last, this is what I get. It doesn't even look right. So we can go to the brush and go down to reset all brushes, then we'll replay last. And if it's too much, you know, you can Control Z that, and you can turn down the draw size. If it's too much overlapping your stroke, then you can replay last, and you can tone it down like that. A lot of these are based on strokes, and if you do any kind of undos, I would say most of the time, I didn't have to test it a lot, but undos will cause it not to work correctly. So we're going to go here, going to drag somewhere in the white. Now my color is white. Color and fill object. Now if I want to turn off that bump, we can switch it, or we can tone it down by just using this morph slider here, and we can do it kind of gradually if we wanted to, or we can kick it back up this way. Now I'm trying to load a quick sketch, and this is what I get right here. If you get this error right here, just go right here and go to the brush, and we'll reset all brushes again and quick sketch it one more time, and that will solve the problem. So we're going to go on the next step here. We want some bumps here, so we're going to go into the basic material here, and we're also, this is 3D, so we're going to store the morph target. Okay, I paused the video and reloaded the script here, and I'm using the quick sketch, which is 3D mesh here, plain actually, because you can see the red cursor here means it's in edit mode. And basically we're going to use this one down here called users, this one way at the bottom. Basically it's different than this one with the RGB, because with this one with the RGB is basically this RGB up here, and it would do only color, and it didn't. Now with the script, it would automatically shut off ZAD, it would automatically shut off Z-sub, and it automatically turn on RGB. It did it automatically, and that gave the user a little bit of limitations. Well, if you want to get a little bit more full control, we'll not use the RGB, and we'll use this one here called users. So any settings that you have will be applied without the script changing on it, changing you on it, or changing on you. Okay, so if I was to drag down, I want to drag down, and we're going to like this. Now these rope brushes are a little bit funny because the way that they're designed. If you notice, typically in ZBrush, this is mesh is pumped out a little bit, which would be ZAD. Well, according the way these brushes are made, this is actually Z-sub. So if I want to cut a hole, let's say in the middle a little bit, I would just turn my draw side down, and I would just do the opposite of what I have here. So if I select here, and we'll replay last, then you can see how it does that like that. And you can click it as many times as you want. Try not to move the mesh and twist it around. So let's just do another one here real quick. Now this is, we're doing replay last, so this is one continuous stroke. That's all you're allowed. And once you get that right there, you can actually, if you wanted to switch to another brush, that'd be fine. Let's switch to, let's say, this one here. And we'll turn the draw size down, and this one will be stroked right somewhat in the middle. And we're gonna get this little bump right here. If you didn't like that, we can Control Z that. Now I said the undos don't work very good, but when you're finished, it will. So I just Control Z that, so that's gonna be fine. And we're gonna switch that over and replay last again. Need something like that. You can kind of combine the two here if you wanted to. So if I wanted to do red, and we can still come up here and press that, and we get the red insert right there. Okay, I want to do multiple strokes here. So this time I'm going to go ahead and do color and just fill object for right now. So I'm going to go do something here in just a second, and we'll select this one here. And when you do use this one on here to the left, this will allow you to have multiple strokes, but you got to store it first. That means you can click and let go. You can click and let go. And for this little example, it's going to allow the user to do anything he wants with it. So I'm going to allow material, and I want to change my material to something red. Then I'm going to replay all. And you can see we got the material here. Okay, I'm going to do one more here. On the second script here still, the user. Like I said, this will allow me to make my own personal settings, and they'll stay, and the script won't change it. Unlike the one up here will do some kind of settings for you, so you got to be careful with that one there. This will allow you to have your own personal settings. So what do I want to use? I want to use just material. Z off, Z-sub off. Let's turn the draw size up a little bit. And what we want to do is we want to store this, because I want to do multiple strokes, not once. This is for single strokes right here. One single stroke is replay last. Multiple strokes would be the store here. That means I can just kind of drag here, let go, drag here, let go, and we'll drag here and let go. Now if I want to go ahead and switch to a different material, I can. To see this material pretty good, I'm going to turn down the draw size here somewhere a little small here, and I'm just using material only, so this will put the material in there. And if I wanted to switch to even a different material, let's say this one here, make my draw size smaller, and we get something like that. I'm just touching bases with you for a few things that you can do, and I mean you can go pretty wild on this thing with all kinds of things. It's really simple, and you just gotta experiment with it. I'll just do a couple here real quick. And we're going to change this one to this color here. Doesn't matter if I change my color before or after, so if I kind of drag out here for right now. On these brushes it don't, at least. It doesn't matter if I do it before or after, so let me bring this script down here. So I'm using the RGB script. And I kind of like that one right there with no color. So basically that's how it works. And there's where the bumps are off, and there's